in Florida, opening statements are underway in the sentencing trial of Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz.
That's right. The jury will decide whether the 23-year-old receives the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Those are the options. Cruz pleaded guilty in October to the murder of 14 students, 3 staff members at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. Now, the jury must unanimously vote for capital punishment, or he will alternatively get the life sentence.
CBS News national correspondent Manuel Bojorquez joins us now. Hi, Manny. You know, this has been a long time coming.
Hello.
Hi. Jury selection for this trial was expected to last only a month, but it took nearly 3 months. What took so long?
Well, Adriana, there was just so much legal wrangling from both sides about the hundreds of people that were in that potential jury pool, questioning everything about whether they believed in the death penalty. There was one delay where a juror appeared to make a gesture towards Nicholas Cruz in the courtroom. And of course, the defense had to put up opposition to that in front of the judge. And even today, there was a last-minute delay. One juror was questioned by the judge about whether she discussed the case when she was at a doctor's appointment. Under oath, that juror said no, and the judge did allow those opening statements to start today.
Hey, so, Manny, do I have this right that the prosecutors are arguing for the death penalty? And if I have that right, what kind of case are they making in that regard?
Well, essentially, after pleading guilty, as you mentioned, the question becomes death or life in prison. The prosecution has decided to go for the death penalty here. So they're trying to prove what are called aggravating factors. So they're pointing to the fact that he made some sort of cell phone recording saying that he would be the next school shooter. Of course, the buying of the weapons, showing that there was some calculated planning around this, and then going into detail about how he carried it out. They set up today how they would do that, showing some of the surveillance video from the school. On the other side, you have the defense. They're going to try to prove what are called mitigating factors, that yes, he did plead guilty to doing this, but in their view, they're going to try to make the jurors see that he may have had some disturbing episodes in his childhood that led to some being emotionally disturbed or mentally ill, and that may have contributed, and that they should do life in prison instead.
Manny, it's hard to believe it's been more than 4 years since Parkland. I know you've been talking to victims' families and survivors. They're finally going to get their day in court. What do you think that they're going to say?
Well, what we can tell you right now is that this is just very highly emotional, as you might imagine, having to relive all of this. The prosecutor today went step by step about how the shooting was carried out and mentioned the names of each individual victim, whether they survived or were killed. And if you looked at the families in the courtroom, you can see that they were visibly shaken by this. Many of them were crying. So some want the death penalty. Others are using these to be very vocal about gun control and security in schools. What's difficult about all of this, of course, is there are other communities that will have to endure the same thing, where you have a suspected shooter or a confessed shooter who is still alive. For example, the Walmart in El Paso, the supermarket in Buffalo, and most recently that 4th of July parade near Chicago. Those families will probably have to endure something similar to what the families here in Florida are enduring today. And for several months, this trial is expected to go on for at least 4 months.
All right, Manuel Bojorquez for us. Manny, thank you very much.